Welcome, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving, by the way. I know this is rough right now watching Arkansas Razorbacks basketball, but we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Just under 8 minutes to go. Arkansas has been battling back from double-digit deficits all day against Illinois, and this has really been a game where Arkansas, when it looks like it's going to make a run, it can't really get any closer than 9 or 10 points, and Illinois seems to always come back with a big three-point shot. That's really been the storyline of this game. Arkansas didn't have a three-point make in the first half. Illinois was 9 of 16 in the first 20 minutes, staking out to a 15-point lead. The Illini led by as many as 17. The Razorbacks, every time they try to make a run, they get in their own way, in concert with Illinois just being a better prepared team, playing to its strengths. Arkansas, I'm not sure what the strengths are. We thought it was defense coming in, but Illinois shot well over 50% overall from the field throughout the game. A lot of that's from behind the three-point line. Illinois has actually been better in the turnover game. One of my keys in my preview story that I did over at HogvilleNET was that Arkansas would have to continue to be better winning turnovers and maybe cutting down on unforced turnovers like they did in the previous game against a non-factor opponent. And we saw today Arkansas is just not able to do that. A lot of unforced turnovers. In fact, Illinois led the turnover game throughout. The last I checked, with just under 10 minutes ago, it was +2 advantage Illinois there, 10-8. Arkansas with 10 turnovers, +1 in points off turnovers. If you're going to get destroyed in the three-point game, you better be better somewhere else. And Arkansas has been the better turnover team all year, even when it's had its own problems. Better in fast break scoring because of it. Better in points off turnovers because of the ability to generate steals, get live ball turnovers, get easy scores. Nothing's been easy for Arkansas today. Very little has been. And then Arkansas's not been good at the free throw line. At least 8 misses that I've seen so far. Every time Arkansas tried to mount a comeback, maybe back-to-back buckets, which you haven't seen much of in this game for Arkansas. You got and-one opportunities for Billy Richmond in the first half, Boogie Flynn in the second half, and what happened? Each player missed the and-one opportunity. Adu Thero's missed, I believe, at least 4 free throws in this game, maybe more than that at this point. He was 6 of 10 in the first half, so he's missed 6. So, yeah, I think Arkansas's missed 8 free throws. Arkansas finally thawed out a little bit. Big Z hit a couple of threes. His twin brother has been the one shooting as good as Illinois is at taking threes, and they put up a volume of it. He's not been the most efficient player shooting from three this season, but he has been today, 6 of 9. And a Big Z kind of performance. It's been Tomislav Ivicic, the better rebounder, the stronger, more physical player, the better player around the basket, and he's been better from distance today. He's been the one, really, when you look at his three-point shooting, it always seems to come. Half of his threes seem like they came when Arkansas strung together a mini run, and he just hit a three. He also had a basket, a pivot move basket down low here not a few minutes ago when Arkansas was on another run and had cut it, I think, to 10 or 9, and he hit a little layup over Trevor Brazil trying to defend him. So the best Ivicic of the twins has been the younger brother by 4 minutes from the outset. Big Z's had a better second half, but his twin brother hasn't let off the gas at all. And you look around it, I mean, there's another player whose name I can't pronounce. It starts with H. He's a 6'9" forward transfer from Evansville. Humid Kraus. He was, the last I checked, 3 of 4 from 3. Again, Tomislav Ivicic, 6 of 9. And then you've got 4 other players for Illinois that have hit threes. Arkansas, Big Z got it started with a couple early in the second half. Trevor Brazil did knock down a 3. Nelly Davis had only attempted 1 field goal, a 3 that rimmed out on him early in the game, did not take another attempt, and then just hit a 3 on a ball fake, a sidestep, and he knocked down a 3. So Arkansas's up to 4 makes, but Arkansas's like 4-15 from distance. Illinois shooting still around or better than 50%. Last I checked, it was 12 of 23. So they're probably better than that by now. But it's a 13-point lead with 7:30 to play for Illinois. Illinois is now back on offense. Big Z recently hit his 3rd 3, so Arkansas is up to 5 made threes out of 17 attempts. Illinois is at 13 of 26, so right at 50%. But Arkansas is back within 10. This is usually where Illinois makes a play or Arkansas makes a mistake. All right, Arkansas got a break here. I'm going to wait a little bit till the possession actually officially changes. Maybe a defensive break here. Arkansas has been really bad late in the clock of committing a foul to either put Illinois at the free throw line or extend a possession. And instead, now Arkansas is back on offense. An offensive foul called on Tomislav Ivisic on Adu Thero. Man, Thero plays hard. Not really, as Arkansas's leading scorer, he's not a guy with a bag of scoring skill. He's more of an opportunistic scorer, a slasher in transition. Just manufacture shots, but he's a downhill slasher. He's not really able to change and shift directions when he's cut off, and that's why you see him fall down or turn it over a lot on his drives. If you cut him off on that A to B downhill, he struggles a little bit, locking up a pivot or just changing direction, changing his flow. But look, he's been Arkansas's best player this season, so we're not going to criticize too much. Yep, just like it's been all game long, Arkansas gets within 9 or 10, and without being able to get it any closer, Illinois strikes back with another three-pointer. 14 of 28 now for the Illini. Arkansas 5 of 17. This is the difference in the game. I will say this: Illinois looked like a better prepared team in terms of how it plays. It wants to play its game and then going out and executing. It hasn't always been pretty. Arkansas plays hard, but they look like more of an assembly of talented players and not as much of a team right now. Boogie Flans had his worst game this season, just a bad night for him. He's been in foul trouble, but aside from that, he hasn't been able to get shots to fall. He's looked like he usually looks calm and playing at his own pace. Tonight, he's looked out of sorts from the get-go. So a bad night for Boogie Flan. You can ill afford to have that in a game like this. I really felt like Arkansas needed its best collective game from its backcourt. It's got anything but that. The lone bright spot, when I count wing players as backcourt players, is probably Billy Richmond. That seems obvious to me. He led Arkansas in scoring in the first half. A lot of energy plays, driving his way, getting close to the rim. Made some hustle plays, dives on the floor, 10 first half points on efficiency. DJ Wagner's had some nice drives in this game, 3 or 4 and close range finishes. But I don't think any Arkansas guard outside of Richmond's really had a solid game when you add everything up. So the Razorbacks back down to 13 with about 5:40 to play. So this is probably, this felt like the Baylor game. The difference in the Baylor game, Arkansas never led in that, but they got down early, got down by 13 points, found ways to fight their way back to a 2-point deficit or even a tie game once, I believe, but could never get over the hump, never take a lead. And then Baylor would build it back out to 8, 10, 11. And it was just that kind of game. Arkansas losing by 5. This is similar but different. Illinois is led by as many as 17. Their leads typically stayed in double digits. And when Arkansas does run, it's many runs to get to, again, 10 or 9. And then Illinois just stretches it right back out. You got both Ivisic on the floor together. Adu Thero with another wild drive. He gets fouled. He gets bailed out. He's taken a lot of free throws in this game. He's missed too many in a game like this for Arkansas to have a chance. Look, Arkansas doesn't look like a top 25 team to me. They just don't. They're ranked. They're 19th. I figure this if they lose, which it's heading that way, Illinois has been in command throughout. Arkansas should drop out of the polls. I don't know that they will. I think they probably will. Just either way, I think they should. And you say, well, what do polls matter anyway? What does it mean? Thero's missed 6 free throws as he steps to the line tonight. He does have 20 points. This guy works. He's a hardcore worker. He and Billy Richmond both bring that. The entire team plays hard. I just feel like Boogie Flan again has not been himself tonight. You couldn't have that in a game like this. You just couldn't have it. Did I say Happy Thanksgiving in the beginning? I hope I did. That's the key. That's the main thing for everybody. But I know you're all locked into this game, especially if you're tuning in and listening to me. So I talked to a Division I assistant coach late last night, damn near another missed free throw for Thero. That's 7 in this game. It's a 12-point lead, 80-68 with just under 5 minutes to go. It's not impossible, but the way this has gone for Arkansas, they're just not. They don't seem destined to win a game like this. Um, but a Division I assistant coach that's matched up, their teams have matched up. Their team had matched up with both of these teams in the last few days. This was a near midnight conversation last night, and I said, "What can you tell me after playing both of these games?" And they said, "Illinois is the better team. Illinois plays the way that it wants to play, and there wasn't much we could do about it. Arkansas is not sure what it wants to do, and there are stretches of the game where Arkansas plays really well, and there are stretches where they don't. They felt like Illinois was a better team, and um, so far that's been true. Arkansas does not look. So we're a couple of plays after it. Theo with a steal after making 1 to 2 free throws, got fouled in transition. 1-and-1 goes the line and makes 1 of 2 again. He's missed 8 free throws today. I mean, just those alone, you're down 11 would get you within a 1-possession game of 3. I know he's not going to be perfect, but it gives you some idea of what the problem for Arkansas has been today. He's the only guy that's really shot free throws. I mentioned Billy Richmond, and speaking of, Arkansas is not giving up. I'm going to say that. One team looks better prepared, more like a team better coached. I'm going to say it. But Arkansas plays its ass off. They play hard. The Razorbacks do, despite their shortcomings. It's a 9-point game with 4 minutes to go. 2 back-to-back steals. I mentioned Theo gets fouled, 1 of 2 free throws. Billy Richmond just flashed a passing lane, got a steal 2 possessions ago, got all the way in for a transition dunk. And you look at what Arkansas struggled with today defensively, a team holding teams under 60 points per game defensively, really low percentages shooting the ball. The same can be said for Illinois coming into this game, really. Both of them top 20 rated according to KenPom. Arkansas 8th in today's ratings. I think Illinois was 18th. But Arkansas defensively is just not able to, other than gambling and risking, being a little bit risky to flash for steals and get deflections. That's part of Arkansas's game. But they've been out of position a lot, and they've fallen for a lot of what Illinois likes to do. Illinois is not going to beat Arkansas in an athleticism competition. They've got good size. But what they like to do when they drive is they like to drive to a spot, get your momentum going against you, hit the brakes with a pivot away from the basket for an uncontested shot instead of driving right into you for one. Or if you do recover, they'll dump it out. They'll kick it outside for an open 3, or they'll dump it down to a cutter. So they've gotten a lot of easy stuff, or gotten Arkansas out of sorts, getting Arkansas to play, use that athleticism against Arkansas, in momentum against Arkansas, and it's just a good way to play. They get to the spots they want to get to offensively for the most part. Not that everything's been easy. The 3-point shooting certainly has been. Again, the last we saw that I looked up here, 14 of 28 for Illinois, whereas Arkansas doesn't really have a 3-point plan in its shot creation. Arkansas wants to put pressure on the rim and get those paint touches and play off of that and get some open threes off of that. They've been able to do a lot of that against some really, teams that were outmanned and outclassed. Today's a little bit different story, and so you don't see Arkansas getting a lot of open looks from 3. And the ones they have gotten, obviously, they haven't shot the ball well. It was an Arkansas team that's been up and down 3-point shooting. When we look at the 2 opponents that are worthy of Arkansas, when you look at personnel, depth, talent, it's been Baylor and Illinois. What did Arkansas shoot against Baylor? 5 of 20. 5 of 20 from 3. I remember that. That's not a good percentage. That doesn't work at this level. And it's not, today's something similar. I think the last stat was, Arkansas warmed up in the second half, kind of like they did against Baylor, but you were 0 for so long. I mean, you're 5 of 17 or 5, whatever it is now, 5 of 18. If Arkansas's hit a 6th one, forgive me. I know Big Z has 3 of them. I think Nelly and Brazil have the other 2. That's not going to cut it. Boogie Fland has been exceptional consistently all year, including the Baylor game when he was 3 of 5 from distance all year long. He's not been able to bust it today from 3. His shot hasn't looked like it normally does anywhere. And even he missed a free throw. He was just off, out of sorts, and in foul trouble. I know we already said that, but we're just kind of carrying through on some of this stuff. I give Arkansas credit for having fight. Down 9, there was a foul, so Illinois is going to shoot free throws on the other side of this under 4 timeout with 3:49 left. Arkansas's technically still in it, just kind of like the Baylor game. The Baylor game was a little closer at times, even though the Bears would stretch that lead back out. It was never quite 17, 16, and 15 like we've seen Illinois in repetition do when Arkansas would cut it to 9 or 10. But it's a similar theme. And in both games, Arkansas's not been the better team, really, but found ways to hang in. So if there's a positive, it's that. If there's a positive, it's Billy Richmond. If there's a positive, it's Jonas Adu, at least returning. He did get a putback in transition. He had a couple of decent defensive possessions. Illinois at the free throw line. I can't give live play-by-play, so I'll wait till Arkansas's on its next possession to say what happened there. Yeah, so Arkansas's back to a double-digit deficit is now. Their Boogie Flan's back on the court, bringing the ball up. Arkansas's down 11, both free throws made. Again, one of the things I wrote about, my 3 keys, one of them was free throw shooting. And in a game where you're the better free throw shooting team, which Arkansas is by about 5 percentage points this year, even though Illinois takes a ton and Arkansas hasn't taken many, Arkansas doesn't foul a lot. Well, today, a lot of whistles on Arkansas, and then Arkansas has just not been efficient at the line. That was one of my keys in a game that could go either way. You're going to have to be the better team like you have been all year. Statistically, it's still early, but through 6 games for each team, Arkansas was better there, not better there today. 3-point shooting, no surprise at all that Arkansas is not very good and that Illinois was. Illinois has not been great percentage-wise from 3, but they take a ton of volume, and this is a day where they're great percentage-wise. I mean elite. So Arkansas's defense has gotten exposed because a lot of those shots were in rhythm, in flow, off Arkansas's inability to make the offense for Illinois difficult. Not a lot of contested threes that Illinois has taken today. They've taken some really wide open ones where Arkansas's given too much cushion or not in position. So there's that. But the Razorbacks are, trying to stay in here. The turnover Arkansas had to be strong in while maintaining in the physicality. Competitive on the boards today. They've been plus in points in the past. It was a team that was the number 1 rebounding team in the country with 50 boards a game. Now they've made so many shots, they haven't had to rebound a lot. Another 3 goes down for Illinois. The lead's back to 14. At the end of the day, with all the stuff we're talking about, not being good at the free throw line, but being more competitive in the physicality, paint presence part that Arkansas hasn't really always done this year, even against lesser opponents, all that's not going to matter. The free throws maybe a little bit more. It is a secondary thing. It's going to be the 3-point shooting. 85-71 with 2:42 to go. Arkansas is about to take their second. The Razorbacks about to take the second loss of the season. The net rankings are going to come out early next week. I think on Monday, maybe as soon as Monday. I believe both of these teams, at least Illinois, will be ranked in the top 50. Arkansas probably will be in net. We'll have to see because some of their wins against some of the teams are going to be ranked lower in net were not very good, and they were at home in terms of how net sometimes works. We'll see about Arkansas's net ranking. But Arkansas is going to likely be 5-2 here without a miracle now at this point. I think they pretty much need a miracle. And I think Arkansas is obviously going to be 0-2 in quad 1 win opportunities. Losses to Baylor and now Illinois. I really thought Arkansas, this was advantage Arkansas coming into today. Not because of what both teams were doing statistically, because I think Arkansas probably has more athletic talent. And I thought that would show up in the turnover and transition game. What happened was Arkansas never put itself in a position to really it started poorly to begin with and got behind. And a lot of times when you get behind, you can get hot from 3. Well, that's not Arkansas's game. The other team that shoots a lot of threes made a statement from beyond the arc early and built up that big lead. And Arkansas has just never been able to put enough combinations of stretches of anything, let alone the turnover department. You'd see a couple of steals that Arkansas wouldn't execute. A lot of 50-50 balls, by the way, that got on the floor that Illinois just was better getting to than Arkansas today. That was thrown in there. But 3-point shooting is going to be the difference. I think Illinois is up to 15 on at least 50% shooting, maybe better. You remember Baylor was not a good 3-point shooting team when Arkansas played them, and Baylor Started 7 of 17 in that game, which was way better than the team had been shooting. And that was enough in building a cushion where Baylor, even though they missed their last 7 in that game, they'd had enough of a lead and did enough right to finish off that game. This is different. Okay, they're showing the stats now: 15 to 29 for Illinois, Arkansas 5 of 17. Good night, sweetheart. You're minus 10 from behind the arc. That 30, that's a 30-point difference. 45 points to 15 for Arkansas beyond the arc. That's hard to overcome. And the only way you can do that is to be a lot better at the free throw line and doing other things. You got to be a lot better in the paint. You got to get it somewhere else. Arkansas, that's negatory, especially at the free throw line. Again, we'll go back to that. I'm going to throw that in there because Arkansas's missed at least 10 free throws, hovering around 50% from the free throw line against a team on high volume shooting 50% or better from three. That's a recipe for a loss against a good team, and that's what we're seeing. Duthero keeps putting his head down and driving to the basket. Illinois is back on offense now, so Duthero just hit a little bank shot. Arkansas's down 12 with 2:20 left. This is disappointing. By the way, Arkansas, after this one finishes like I think it will with a loss, Arkansas will be 1-1 on CBS games that are first for CBS. Exactly 43 years ago to the date, November 28th, it was a Saturday though, 1981, Arkansas played Michigan at home in the first ever nationally televised game on CBS in a regular season. Prior to that, NBC was the big college basketball broadcast channel before ESPN and all of that. And CBS had only televised some NIT postseason games in the 60s and 70s. It never been the main broadcaster for college basketball. So the first ever regular season broadcast for CBS was Arkansas, Michigan. Arkansas won at home that day by 11 points, 83 to 72. This is the first ever CBS game to be nationally televised on Thanksgiving Day. With all these years, 40 plus years now, televising college games, CBS has always stayed in one lane on Thanksgiving Day, televising an NFL game, which was played before this one. And Brazil got a dunk, I think, on a putback, and then Illinois just got a second chance reverse layup, it looked like. So it's down to about a minute left. We got a timeout. Arkansas's down and going to lose here, down double digits still. Yeah, so there was some history today with how CBS televises game. Look, CBS is synonymous with college basketball, March Madness, but regular season. And Arkansas usually gets one CBS game a year, and it was against Calipari's Kentucky teams the last 2 years. And this time around, Calipari's at Arkansas. So Calipari's been involved in Arkansas's last 3 CBS games, and Arkansas's 0-3. How about that for a stat? Did you see that coming today? Arkansas's 0-3 in those babies. Not regular season. We're not talking about postseason. Arkansas in the NCAA tournament probably was on CBS. There's a band of networks that televise with all the games going on simultaneously. True TV, TNT, TBS, some of those. But I'm assuming with Arkansas's Sweet 16 and 2 years ago, they might have been on CBS for one of those games. Probably was against UConn. I'm not sure about that 100%. But in regular season, Arkansas now 0-3 in its last 3 regular season games, all games involving John Calipari on the sideline, twice for Kentucky, this time for Arkansas. So there are no moral victories. You got down 15 early. You're down 14 with 1:05 left. You're missing free throws right and left. You missed another one. This is just not Arkansas's. This is not Arkansas's platform to prove that it belongs in the top 25. I'll say that again. They just didn't use this platform to establish that. Win or lose. I mean, if you really kept it close, this is bad. This was bad basketball by Arkansas today, despite how hard the Razorbacks play and that there was some fight in them. There's just no moral victory in this one. Well-earned victory for Illinois. Better team. Tomislav Ivicic got the better of his older twin brother. Any storyline you want to pick, it belongs to Illinois today. That's just the way it is. 25 minutes in. Thank you for joining me on HogvilleNet YouTube Live. It's a bummer way to join in. I'm not going to have final stats or any of that. I don't have a sophisticated setup, so I'm just rolling off what I see here, and no final stats to delve into. We're probably not going to spend a lot of time now. We've already said everything. I mean, all that's now is academics, the final score. I'll hit you with that when it gets there. But Arkansas is going to give up a season high in points today. 72 twice, Baylor, and then the win over Pacific, Arkansas 91-72. Two teams got to 72 today. Illinois got a chance to get to 90 if they make a free throw here after missing the front end or the first of two. Arkansas is back on offense, down 15 again, 90-75 with 28 seconds to go. Duthero's going to get run in for a missed layup, but he was fouled. So he'll have free throws to try to put a little dent in this academic. Now it's just academic. We'll see if he can hit both free throws. I think he did once in this game hit both free throws. But he's approaching, I don't know how many he shot. I don't know how many Adu's taken today, but he's got to be over 15 attempts and pushing 20. Tomislav fouled out on that play. 21 points for him. And he came into this game averaging nearly 16 points a game, over 8 rebounds. Big Z, not quite that production. Big Z was the better percentage guy from 3, the better rim protector. Tomislav doesn't really block shots, and he blocked Arkansas. I think blocked a shot on Arkansas's first offensive possession by Boogie Fland, I believe, or somebody. He got somebody driving in early. And then he hit a couple of big threes, and they were out 6-0. And really, this has just been that kind of game. All right, Illinois on offense, running the clock out. Thero did make both free throws. He's Arkansas's leading scorer again. No surprise there. He's always in attack mode. Final score out of Kansas City. Glad I wasn't there today. I was approved for my press credentials, but again, not because of family on Thanksgiving Day, but I've got some other stuff going on with family, some health stuff. And sometimes I just have to stay close to home. That was the decision I made. So here I am, but it's 90-77. Final score, Illinois improves to 6-1. The Razorbacks fall to 5-2. I fully expect Arkansas now to fall out of the top 25, and deservedly so. When the next rankings come out, when the net rankings come out next week, Arkansas, you'll see Arkansas's 0-2 in quad 1 win opportunities. I think Arkansas at best has probably only picked up quad 3 wins at this point. I doubt there's a quad 2 on there when those rankings come out, but we'll check it and see. So 5-0 in home games, 0-2 in neutral site games now. 1-1 when CBS has a first ever. I just went through all that. I kind of struggled awkwardly explaining that. That's an all-time thing spanning the last 43 years. Brad Underwood is a hell of a coach. There are other storylines here. Chin Coleman, Arkansas associate coach, once recently coached under Underwood. Assistant that was been with Cal the last few years. He coached previously under Underwood, back with Underwood. I always get his name jacked up. Antigua. So you've got, some other storylines outside of the Ivicic twins. We're almost to 30 minutes now. We've got the final score in there. Like I said, I don't have final stats to go over with you, other than if you wanted to just boil it down to 3-point shooting, that's probably enough. Illinois was good there early, midway, late, and then at the very end. And Arkansas was never really able to get it. I think 9 was as close as Arkansas would get. And so it was always little mini runs before Illinois usually hit another 3 to, in a game like this, you lose like Arkansas did 90-77. And you were minus 30 effectively from the 3-point line. You can basically boil it down to that. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining me on HogvilleNet YouTube Live. If you haven't done it already, please hit subscribe, like, and share. Hopefully, there's better news next time. Arkansas stays away from home. It's the first back-to-back away from home stretch for Arkansas this season. Next week on Tuesday, a road game at Miami, a team that's only 3-3. I think the Hurricane have a game this weekend with a chance to improve to 4-3, I guess, by the time they host the Razorbacks. But it'll be the first ever ACC SEC challenge on Tuesday. That's a game that'll be televised on one of the ESPN channels. But until next time, I'm sure we'll be back for another post game, maybe an in-game post game then probably. Until then, take care. Happy Thanksgiving one more time. Thank you for joining me on HogvilleNet YouTube Live. See you the next time.